high. Now, you're born poor. You live poor. Will you die poor? Is that your lot in life? Let's look at number A. You're born poor. I get that. I was born poor. Okay, why was I born poor? Why? And I'm going to tell you what the missing ingredient was. The missing ingredient was land, house, real estate. The other missing ingredient was wisdom, how to grow food, how to preserve food. How to sew. If your children don't have any clothes, you learn how to sew. Okay? Starting a small business, or at least a side hustle. Okay? Now, I knew a lady when I was a kid. She was moderately poor. But you know what? She never had a car. She had, I think, 4 children. She walked everywhere she needed to go. She was moderately poor, but I never really saw her want for anything when I was a kid. You know, her hair was always fixed. She dressed decently. Her daughter dressed decently. As she got older, I think her husband had died, something like that. As she got into her old age, she still lived well. Even though she was renting an apartment. She went to the dry cleaners, got her hair done, got her handicapped daughter's hair done. She lived well in her old age. Okay, so she evidently used a lot of wisdom in her old age. Okay, she didn't spend money that she didn't have, but she lived well. Okay, so let's look at living. Let's look at B, living poor. You have to be honest, okay? Let's say you're over 18. Well, I was told this is how you do it. Itching big time today, y'all. You go to college. Parentheses, you get in debt because you're gonna have a mountain of debt, okay? $30,000. I'm hearing $30,000, $100,000, okay? Excuse me. You go to debt. You go to college. You get in debt in parentheses, and then after that's all finished, you beg, usually the white man, for a job. Okay? Now, that did not work for me. Okay? Now, the other thing they say is don't marry an idiot, which, you know what? You have a high opportunity, a high chance of marrying an idiot. So, that's not going to work either. Okay? I left home not knowing the purpose of money. And for your information, I started working at 16. Okay? I started working at 16 to today. Okay? I didn't know the purpose of money. I did not know how to make money except to go beg for a job. Okay? I didn't know the concept of buying and selling like they do in the third world. You know, get your goods out there and try to sell them. Okay? I did not know how to manage money, even though I made half-hearted efforts over the years. You know, I used coupon. I start canning, freezing, and drying food, you know, to save money. I sold my own clothes for a long time. And I tried to find, you know, bargains here and there. So I made a half-hearted effort to manage money. But you know what? I think my efforts just didn't work. I did not have a consistent savings plan. I'm talking about, you know, come hell or high water, you put, you know, at least $15, $5 to $15 in the bank for you and your children every month, okay? And 99.9% of Christians are just like me. 99.9% of Christians and non-Christians are just like me. Okay? That's why I think the prosperity message as it is presented is invalid. Because if I went from Genesis to Revelation, God is about economics. The prosperity message has been misused to make them rich. Okay? Because it's not making us rich. It's making them rich. Okay? Now, the prosperity message promotes high on the hog living. You know, you want a $500 cell phone? Tell God you supply my needs to get it. You want another cell phone next month? Lord, I want it. Oh, that's not true. Okay? My interpretation of what the scripture says is that whatever economy God has given you, you're supposed to manage it. I don't see anything in the scripture about how on the hog living. And now the scripture says God gave all of his men, his generals, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, King David, Samuel, and so on. I mean, why wouldn't God make them rich? I mean, if he wants them to be his servant, Moses, if he wants them to be his servant, they got to have provision, okay? So by age 40, I lacked money, okay? Why? Because I had no understanding of money. And 99.9% of people, professionals, like college professors, economic professors, are just like me. They don't understand money. The people in my family got good salaries and they ain't got nothing to show for it. They don't have a house. They don't have a condo. They got money. They have nothing to show for it. There's a bunch of people in my family ain't got nothing to show for it. They ain't got no real estate. Don't have a house. Don't have a really good apartment. All they got is cars that they're paying $500 a month in a note for. They don't understand money. There are a lot of people that got good salaries don't understand money. That's why they broke. B-R-O-K-K-E. Broke. Okay, so I was upset at age 40 over something that I didn't have nor understand. And like I said, I've always made a half-hearted effort to buy real estate. Even when I was in my early 20s, I tried to buy a 15-acre tract of land in Florida for $15,000, and the bank person laughed, and I got her fired, okay, for laughing. Okay, and then sometime later in my late 20s, I wanted to buy this cheap land in Montana, which if I had bought it, it would be worth 100 times what I paid for it. But you know what? Over the years, I'm not saying I've been dumb all my life, which I haven't. Over the years, I have made a half-hearted effort to manage money by using coupons, canning, freezing, drying, buying cheap stuff, sewing my own clothes, buying real estate, big tracts of land. But what I did not know when I started studying money from Genesis to Revelation, I understood it on a deeper level. Okay, if you are hungry, you need to learn how to grow, harvest, cook, and preserve food. Okay, if you don't have any clothing, you need to learn how to sew. If you are homeless, you need to learn how to buy cheap real estate. That's what was missing in my life, how to buy cheap real estate. Now that's where all the research, once I hit 40, carried me. I did not know I could buy plenty of houses under $30K. Plenty of them. Some under $500, some under $1,000. I did not know that. But see, throughout my research, once I hit 40 and I started doing research on cheap properties, I found out that in various states that I can buy plenty of houses that are under $30K. Now, I do probably, as far as buying real estate, I do 95% of my work over the internet. I do 95% of it over the internet. There are occasions when I actually physically go to an auction if I am interested in the property. But if I want to buy a property, I can locate it on the internet, go through the process. I don't have to always see it face to face. I go through the process and hire a lawyer, transfer the title, and I own it. Okay? I have the deed. Okay? I do not use borrowed money to buy real estate. Everything's paid in cash, no debt. Okay? If you are homeless, what's the problem? Your first priority is a home. You need to learn how to buy cheap real estate. I don't care if you live in New Jersey. And you know what? Or New York. New York has it. They got millionaire mansions. Even though they got ivy growing through it and poison oak, they look habitable. Some of them are very nice. Millionaire mansions in New York. Okay, you need to learn how to build a house. I learned how to build a house. The one thing I knew when I was 40, that if I continue doing what I've been doing for the last 25 years, I'm going to be in the same situation. So I had to do an about face. I did the opposite of what I had been doing for the last 25 years. I learned about money, number one. I started buying real estate, number two. I aggressively couponed and Tried to, aggressively save. I bought real estate cash, no debt. Okay, I could see how destructive debt was. I stopped spending. Okay, and I just concentrate. I did have some debt. I concentrated on paying that off. Okay, I had to do an about face. Whatever I was doing for the last 25 years, it was not working. Okay, so I had to do an about face. I learned how to build a house. I know how to put up drywall. Okay. Now, number one, I read the Bible from Genesis to what God said about money. God's not about get-rich-quick schemes like in the prosperity message. God is about economics. You must understand that. And you know what? There's a lot of verses that, poor people aren't even mentioned in the prosperity message. And God has a lot to say about how much he cares for the poor. That's in Psalms. It's all throughout Scripture. Okay, but poor people are not even mentioned in the prosperity message. You know why? Because they want you to think, they don't want you to think about poverty. They want you to think about living hound the hog, which is not scriptural. And all of that's making them super rich. All of it's making them super rich, okay? Like I said, I learned how to borrow money. I'm still learning I learned how to start a business, okay? And I'm still learning about those things. I'm still learning about how to have a business, how to have a hustle. I'm still learning about money. I still read a lot of books. I still search the scriptures and see what God says about money. It's a lifelong learning process. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not making the mistakes that I made from ages 15 to 40. So that's the key. You don't make the mistakes that you made in the past. I'm not making the mistakes that I made from 15 to 40. Now, there are very few people in my family that are entrepreneurs. Okay? Very few. That's why it just doesn't run in my family. That's why I have to learn about entrepreneurship. I have to learn about starting a business. So, part C, do you have to die poor? The answer is no. You don't have to die poor. Why? If you buy cheap real estate, excuse me, you learn how to build houses, you learn how to repair a house. You grow your own food, you preserve your own food. Sneeze coming up. You get a side hustle, a business. You have to be honest no matter what the cost, because it's going to cost you. Okay, do not cheat. Do not have any illegal dealings, okay? Continue to learn about money. Continue to read the books. In fact, I read a lot of books that are not very popular, written by just ordinary women on what they did to get out of their financial quagmire. Okay, if you are an inventor, okay, the wheel, there's a lot of ways to invent the wheel, okay? If you are an inventor, be sure to get a patent. If you are a writer, you like to write poetry or songs, be sure to get a copyright. If you like to design logos, be sure to get a trademark. Protect all of your work, okay? So no, the answer to my question, if you're born poor, you live poor, do you have to die poor? No, you don't, because there's so many examples of people who did not die poor. There's a lot of examples. Have a nice day.